Hello, 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 and welcome back to Mondays with Matt. Whether you're watching this here on Facebook or you're over on my YouTube channel, my new channel, Shift Happens, enjoying Mondays with Matt over there, hi. I'm so delighted to have you. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and take a second, hit that little subscribe button on YouTube. I'm always uploading new, great content, and you want to get notified when I do it, right? We'd love to have you as part of the tribe, and I am absolutely delighted and excited to have you here. People are joining us live, and as you're jumping on, say hi, give me a one. Let me know you're excited to be here for Mondays with Matt, because I am absolutely delighted to have you. We got Lauren, Heather, and Tracy are already here. I know lots more of my amazing students and clients are going to be hopping on, I'm sure, in the next few seconds. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Matt Schaefer. I am a transformational speaker and coach for women. I coach women around empowerment, connection, and relationship, and I am absolutely obsessed with the work that I do and the women that I serve, who I lovingly refer to as my magnets. Magnet Nation in the house. Heather's here. Hi, Bethany. What's going on? And and this is my weekly show, Mondays with Matt, that I have been doing, I kid you not, every week since January 2nd of 2017. This is my weekly co-creative, live, unscripted dialogue that I do with you around things that I'm really passionate around: personal development, emotional intelligence, transformation, spirituality, love, relationships, connection, basically all the things that I'm learning and experiencing in real time. I come to you once a week and I have a dialogue with you about it, right? And so I've been doing this show for a long time, and it's a sacred experience for me, and I'm absolutely blessed and delighted to share it with you tonight. So please engage with me, talk to me, respond to me, right? Your contribution and your energy is part of what makes this show so special and so magical. Hi, Sarah Flip, Iriam's here, Carmela's here. It's so wonderful to see all your beautiful faces again. Miss Valerie McNeese is here. What's going on, Deanna Groen? And guys, I just wanted to do this show. By the way, it's the night of the full moon, right? It is the night of a full moon here across the world, right? I think it's called the snow moon or the something moon, wolf moon. Someone tell me which moon it is. It's a full moon tonight, all right? And so a full moon is a chance for a new beginning, right? It's a chance to hit the reset button. It's a chance to begin anew. And in the spirit of that, right? In the spirit of this full moon that we're all going to be experiencing tonight, which I'm going to be, taking, seriously and really grounding myself in here, right? There's a rallying cry that I've been using for a long time, right? And I want to share it with you, and I would love to invite you to adopt it in your own life as well. And it's the theme of tonight's show. And that rallying cry is onward and upward. Onward and upward. And it is a phrase that I have been using really since about the moment that I decided to walk the path, right? To walk the path of personal development. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what it means to me and how I think we can all use this phrase to really, take our lives and take our existence and take our vibration to a totally new level. And just so you know, y'all, the full moon that we have this month, it's not as cool or as ominous or as mysterious as the wolf moon, right? It's actually the beaver moon. It's the beaver moon, which is hilarious and fantastic. I'm happy it's a beaver moon, right? Tonight. What's up, Beth? What's up, Karen Wakey? So onward and upward, right? Why do you think onward and upward is such a beautiful rallying cry for our lives, right? Onward and upward, onward and upward. Like, why is this a phrase that can encapsulate so beautifully what it means to be on the path of personal development, to be on the path of finding our greatest life, our highest possibility, our greatest destiny? That phrase, onward and upward, right? Let's break it down, right? Let's take it one step at a time. What does it mean to move onward? Exactly, Carmela Greco. We can't go back to the past. There is no going back. There is no putting the toothpaste of your life back in the tube. It's not backwards and downwards. It's onwards and upwards, right? Because that is the only direction in which we can go. right? There is no stopping. There is no going backwards, right? Life is continually going to be presenting us with challenges and opportunities and space for us to move forward, right? So we get to move onward no matter what life throws at us. Because while we cannot move backwards, we sure as hell can get stuck. We can sure as hell stop. But guess what, y'all? That is always a choice. I talk about this a lot on our show, right? But you always have a choice. But everything that you want out there, you can move forward or you can stop. The only way that you will ever fail in your life is if you stop. The only way that your evolution will ever slow down significantly is if you make a choice to stop. But what is moving onward? What does moving onward look like? It's exactly, Karen Wanke, it's living consciously. It's being present. It's having a target, right? In order for us to move onward, we have to have a direction in which we were going. And I talked a couple weeks ago about intention and the value and the importance of having intention, of living intentionally. Because when we live intentionally, we're able to move forward in a given direction. You want a better relationship? Fantastic. Are you moving towards that thing that you have set an intention about? Or are you just waiting for a relationship to magically drop into your lap, right? This is so true, right? Beth Schaeferman says it beautifully here. We just have to be grateful. We just get to be, not have to, we get to be grateful for the lovely selves that we are right now. The present moment is always perfect, right? The present moment is always perfect. And the present moment is always pushing us and helping us evolve and grow and expand into our greater selves as long as we choose to move onward. And here's the thing, this is where I want to really frame this for you, is that we cannot move up, we cannot elevate unless we continue to move forward, right? We live in a continually exponentially expanding reality and universe. That is quantum physics, and that is the truth, right? And it is our responsibility to expand along with that universe. If we choose not to move forward, we are falling behind, right? We are stagnating. Human beings were meant to live in a state of constructive tension. We were meant to be constantly pushing outside of our understanding of who we are and what's possible for us. That is how we tame our ego. That is how we ascend and create our highest possibility in life. So no matter what life throws at you, you don't get to quit. If you're on this path, if you're really committed, right, it doesn't matter what life throws at you. It doesn't matter how afraid you are. It doesn't matter what comes up. It doesn't matter what triggers you have, what resistance you have, right? It's not going to always be easy. Walking this path, right, of transforming into your highest self, of choosing to live your best life, it is oftentimes very painful, right? Because it forces us to come up against the limitations that we have created for ourselves. It forces us to come up against our fear. It forces us to come up against our conditioning, our doubts, right? Our insecurities, all of our wounds. That's why there is so much healing. That's why it's called the transformational process. Because in the process of moving forward, in the process of taking one step after another, no matter how you feel, no matter what doubts are coming up, no matter what limitations you think you have in your life, if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you will be absolutely astonished at where you can end up. And I'm talking in your professional life, I'm talking in your relationships, in every area of your life. If you just commit to continuing to move onward, no matter what life throws at you, you will be absolutely astonished by how far you can go. And don't get hung up on how fast you're going, right? We don't get to be attached to the speed at which we progress. We just make a conscious choice every day to continue to move forward. And so let me know in your life, let me know in your past where you have seen this, right? Because we get to continue to go onward and upward at all times. It's the only path, it's the only choice that we get to make. Well, Diana says, I started a new plus size community in Vancouver, Washington. Incredible. We're neighbors too. I didn't know that, Diana. That's so cool. And look at that incredible choice that you've made, right? And Karen and Beth says, Beth says, onward and upward is exactly what I said after making clutter progress. It's only upward from here. Yeah, right? And so after I got fired from my job and shut down my restaurant and filed for bankruptcy and my whole life fell apart, right? I only had one choice. That choice, and the choice that I chose to make from that movement, from that moment forward, out of the ashes of my old life, was to move onward and upward. And in the mastermind that I joined, not long after my whole life blew up, I started using that phrase. We needed a ending phrase, right? So we'd all put our hands in the middle of the table, and I suggested this, and everybody adopted it. We would go onward and upward, and then put our hands up, because truly, you have no idea what you can create if you just keep moving forward with intentionality and faith, right? Because we always have a choice between fear and faith too. Your entire life will boil down to the choices that you make, and whether you choose to keep moving or whether you choose to stop. Whether you choose to consciously believe in yourself, or whether you choose to start letting the doubts start to circulate in your head, right? Nicole says, I keep trying to stop like I've done many times in the past, and Mondays with Matt smacks me in the rear. Exactly. Smacks you in the egoic rear, right? Because here's the thing, and this is something that I want you to just remember, right? Is that your ego, your fear, your limitation, your doubt, your wounds, your conditioning, the overall imperative of all of that, all that those aspects of you want you to do is to stop. They want you to stagnate. They want you to backpedal. They want you to stop moving into the unknown. So onward and upward is a rallying cry in your ongoing, never-ending sort of struggle or combative relationship that you will have with your ego as you continue to take your ego on. Okay? And your ego is not your enemy. Your ego is your amigo. Your ego is not evil, right? But your ego, if your ego has its way, if your fears, doubts, limitations, conditioning, and past have their way, it will slow or stop your evolution. So by saying onwards and upwards, right? Onward and upwards, you're saying to yourself, to the universe, to God, and to your ego, whichever ones you want to, identify and speak to, you're saying to all those parts of yourself, I am committing to being the author of my life, the captain of my ship, and moving forward powerfully into what I know is possible for me. And I am not the victim of my past. And I am not the victim of my circumstances, right? I'm not a victim at all. Because I always have a choice. Are y'all with me on this? Give me a 1, because here's the thing. So many people live their lives in autopilot, default, victim mode. And that is a choice. Not making a choice is also a choice. So choose. Choose to move onward and upward. Choose to have faith that something better for you is out there. Okay? Something greater, something more expansive. Because I am so sick of seeing people sell out on themselves. And that's what happens when you choose to not make a choice, when you choose to settle for complacency, to settle for stagnation, to allow your ego to take the wheel in your life. You're choosing your limited self, right? You're not operating or embracing or standing in the power of who you truly are, right? It's fundamentally inauthentic, which is why so many people are so incredibly wishy-washy and unfulfilled in their lives because they don't make clear choices. They don't take committed, imperfect action. And another huge part, right, about moving onward is that you don't have to know all the steps. Right? Well, Karen says, my ego's name is Sheena. Yeah, she helps me be a badass warrior and move onward and upward now. Diana says, mine is Shira. I love it. I love these warrior names for our egos. Yeah, and definitely name your ego. Learn about your ego, right? Familiarize yourself with know thine enemy, even though your ego is not your enemy. Know and be aware and be conscious of that aspect of yourself. That way, when it comes up, when you're moving onward from a relationship that no longer serves you, onward into a new job, into a new career, to a new city, to a new life, you're leaving something that's no longer in alignment for you, right? As you move onward and your ego comes up and says, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. What about all the things that could go wrong? What about all the things that have happened bad in the past? What do you mean you're going to create a new online dating profile? Don't you remember your last 3 or 4 relationships? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? As all those voices come up, instead of being like, oh my gosh, this must be my intuition warning me against doing something that's going to hurt me, you can listen to that voice and you can say, this isn't my intuition, this isn't my higher self, this is my ego trying to stop me from being hurt, right? Trying to fight for my limitation, trying to take my past and project it into my present and future so that I can stop moving onward. Remember, if the voice in your head is trying to consistently halt you from doing things that could create more possibility, greater love, greater fulfillment, greater connection in your life, that voice is almost always your ego. Almost always, right? So be conscious of that and recognize that moving onward is always a choice. And that's when we get to part 2, which is moving upward. Right? And when I say upward, I mean that as you move onward, as you develop confidence in who you are, as you learn more about yourself throughout the process of moving through challenges and obstacles and moving through your ego and through your resistance time and time and time and time again, as you continue to move onward as a byproduct of that process, you will elevate. You will move upward as well. Elevation is a natural byproduct of the process of expansion. Elevation is a byproduct of the process of transformation, right? You will elevate. You will become more of who you are. Your vibration will rise. You will connect deeper with other people. You'll have more meaningful relationships. You'll be more present in the moment. You'll be more confident and grounded in yourself. Does that sound nice? Does that sound like something that would be cool to you in your life, right? I mean, and this is what is possible for us, right? So I want you to look at it. A lot of you have been following me for a little while. You've been doing my work. You've been in my courses. I'd love for you to share, right? And take a second and share, what has this experience been like with you? Have you experienced the process of moving onward and upward in your own life as you have done inner work? Because as we do inner work and then take that inner work out into the world with this rallying cry of onward and upward, we elevate and we grow and we expand and we become stronger and we become more authentic. We build relationships. And when you start moving onward and upward, guess what happens? You start drawing into your life and attracting into your life other people that are on that same wavelength. Other people that are similarly committed to this path. Right? Jacqueline, who just went Facebook official with her relationship today, which I'm so proud of her for. She says, thank God I moved on from my ego about online dating. And I remember, supporting Jacqueline and getting that profile up there and talking to guys. And was it scary? Were there doubts? Was there resistance that came up? Of course there was. There always was. There always will be, That's why having this mantra to come back to, onwards and upwards, onwards and upwards, onwards and upwards. The more we can do that, the more we can ground ourselves in that, the less we will be inclined to start listening to that voice that, are you sure you want to keep going? Are you sure you want to move forward? There's so much scary stuff out there. It's pretty comfy right here. Why can't we just stay right here? Here is really safe. Here you know where everything is. Here things are familiar. Right? But here's the thing, familiarity, comfort, that is the basis of stagnation. That is the basis of slowing down and stopping the evolution that's possible for us. And a lot of people spend their entire lives fighting the evolution and growth and transformation and expansion that's possible for all of us. I very easily could have been one of those people had I not almost stumbled upon this path. I most definitely could have been one of those people, But once I connected with this and once I felt myself start to grow and expand as I just made a conscious choice to no longer be a victim of my life and of my past and of a myriad of external variables that I had no control over, once I said, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm not going to be this person that everybody wants or needs me to be. I'm not going to, shine my light only to help other people. I'm going to shine my light to help people myself because I believe that I can do that. I choose to believe that I can do that, even though I'm afraid that I can't. You know what I'm saying? I choose to believe. I choose to consciously step into service of other people every day, even though there's always that voice in my head screaming, I don't know if you can do it this time. I don't know if it's going to work. Are you sure this is going to happen? What if you can't deliver? That voice never stops, right? That's why we adopt this as a mantra, and as all that stuff flares up time and time and time and time again, you just repeat it to yourself. Onward and upward, right? When an obstacle comes up, you have a breakdown, you freak out, you allow yourself to have that experience, and then you repeat to yourself, onward and upward, right? Because as you elevate, as your vibration elevates and you connect with more beautiful souls that are on this path with you, the path becomes less lonely. It's only really lonely at the beginning when you break away, when you declare that you want to walk a different path, and all the people that were in victimhood with you look at you and say, what's wrong with you? What are you, crazy? What, you want to change the world? What about this version of you that we've been so comfortable with for the last 30, 40, 50, however many years, right? This version of you that was so easily sold out on yourself. This version of you that validates my own choosing of victimhood. Time and time and time again. That's why when we initially walk the path, it's okay to feel a sense of isolation. It's okay to feel misunderstood or almost like you're separating from the people in your life. I went almost full solitary for a little while, but it doesn't stay that way. That's the magic. That's the magic of this, And so just a couple. Laura says, I so needed to hear this tonight. Thank you. Oh, I'm happy to hear that, Laura. That's so beautiful. Yes, Jacqueline says, I was so scared, Matt. Thank you for holding my hand. I was so scared. And look at how it's paid off. That's absolutely beautiful. And so as far as going onward and upward, Lauren Irene says, I'm a totally different person, and I'm in the best and healthiest relationship I have been in with myself. I'm confident, I know who I am, and I'm not backing down for anything. Amen. Sister Karen says, I've connected with so many beautiful souls. That is 100% fantastic. Beth says, I feel so much more enlightened just listening to this. I don't recognize the person I was before inner work and meeting Matt and Tribe. And guys, I'm not paying anyone to say this stuff, I promise. This is all authentic testimony from people who have truly experienced deep and profound transformation in their life, And I mean, I want people to share this because I want to know that everything is possible for you. Everything is possible all the time if you are committed to moving onward and upward in your life. No matter what life throws at you, no matter what inner dialogue is bouncing around in your head, you have such a profound possibility, such a profound path always available to you to just take another step. Just keep going. Just keep going, right? And trust and believe in yourself that no matter what has happened up until now, no matter who you have been up until now, that there's always something greater waiting for you as long as you are committed to growth. As long as you are committed to finding love and to loving yourself first. Let's give Kathy Stever a big one. She says, I just broke away from a 20-year marriage to an abusive man. I have grown. Incredible. That is so beautiful, Kathy Stever. It's just situations like that. Sometimes the greatest blessing that we can have as individuals is leaving that which no longer serves us. And in Kathy's situation, this has been probably one of the greatest blessings of her life. 2 decades of abuse has come to an end because Kathy is choosing to no longer be a victim of her life, no longer be a victim of her marriage. Hearing stuff like that is the reason that I do this work, to support women in liberating themselves from the energetic and emotional imprisonment that they will allow men to put them in, that they will put themselves in as a result of what they have been taught throughout their lives, and this is not something that is exclusive to women. This is all people. All people will can get sucked into this, right? If they're not consciously choosing the way that they want to live their lives on a daily basis. Karen Wanke says, I actually like myself now. I love that, Karen. That's so beautiful. Valerie says, I love this path with this tribe. I feel us cutting through the bamboo. It makes this easier. They make it easier to clear the path and see ahead. Amen, Valerie. That's so fantastic. And again, this is 100%. This is the path and the trajectory that we are on individually and also collectively. We are moving onward and upward. And here's a beautiful thing that happens as you continue this process and you continue to commit to moving onward and upward at all times. It's crazy. You gain momentum. You do. You gain momentum over time. The resistance is still there, the voice is still there, but it doesn't have as much strength as it used to, right? And over time, you gain speed and things start to flow and alignment starts to happen. You connect with more people that are on that path with you. And literally, the way that this goes is the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. It does. It just keeps getting better, right? Give me a one if y'all have felt that. If you've all felt that sense of momentum in your lives. Jacqueline says, "OMG, yes." Dawn says, "Right, yeah," and because it does. It's energy, right? Energy flows where attention goes, right? And where we give our energy to, I forget which book I read. Or where this quote is from, right? But it's I think it's Napoleon Hill. But the more energy and attention we give to something, right? It's like a magnet, right? Drawing filings to it. And the more energy and time that we pour into anything, constructive or deconstructive in our life, the more like attracts like. It's the nature of the law of attraction. It's the law of the universe, right? So the more time and energy you pour into moving onwards and upwards and you pour into lovingly identifying and, not being a victim or controlled by your ego, the more you're just going to continue to grow and build momentum in that direction. And your ego is going to be there kicking and screaming and fighting the whole time. But guess what? It no longer has an operating or controlling ability or leverage in your life. And then you just start rolling. And then guess what, y'all? Life gets easier. Life gets easier. Life gets more fun. Life becomes an adventure. My life is an adventure now. My life 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was an adventure, but it was a much more challenging adventure. It was an adventure where I was beholden to other people, where I wasn't fully living my truth, where I felt controlled and like I was forcing myself into somebody else's box, right? Now I don't live in a box. Right? I set the terms in my life and I have a degree of freedom, right? It all started and it took a couple years, right? For me to piece this together, it took probably about 4 years for me to put this together, but it started with me making a conscious choice that I wasn't going to be a victim anymore, and that no matter what no matter what happened to me in my life, and no matter what I experienced, that I committed to moving onwards and upwards every day. And some days I had great days, some days I had bad days, but even on my worst days, I would take a step forward. Even if that step forward was practicing self-care and not being able to do a lot. Moving forward, moving onwards doesn't always have to mean massive crushing action too. Sometimes moving onwards and elevating is practicing self-care. It's taking a day off. A lot of you out there are probably a little more familiar and more comfortable with grinding and grinding and grinding no matter what. And maybe it's up to you to start looking at where are you putting your time and your energy? And are you doing that because you're really trying to get better results? Or are you hiding behind being busy? Are you hiding behind having a to-do list, right? Are you hiding behind a career that keeps you busy and pays your bills but makes you miserable? So many people, right? So moving onwards and upwards doesn't mean, necessarily being in relentless action all the time. You want to look at where you're pouring that time and energy. Where are you pouring that time and energy? And maybe you need to stop doing things that are not in alignment for you. Maybe you need to stop doing things altogether and rest and reflect for a little while. Practice self-care, practice self-love. Give yourself some time and space to settle and reconnect and ground. Right? So I don't want you to think that moving onwards and upwards means that you have to be like in a relentless continual hamster wheel of activity. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that no matter what it is that you want to create in your life, that you're consciously choosing to create in your life, you get to move onward towards it every day in some way. And as you do that, you will elevate, you will expand, You will connect with other people that are expanding and elevating too. You will gain momentum. And you will live the life that you want. You will embrace the person that you want. You will have the relationships that you want, right? And it will be with like-minded people, people with similar vibration. I've seen it happen time and time again. I live it in my life. I see it in my students and clients. And now the friends that I've surrounded myself with, right? Who are all citizens of the world, right? They're all people that live all over the world, right? When I get together with these people, we're exactly on the same level. When I get together with Drew and Aaron and Rebecca and all these beautiful high vibe souls that I've connected with that are all in my circle now, like I just feel so at home with them. And that's what I think, what this really comes down to, and what this really feels like as you continue to move onwards and upwards, is you're moving onwards and upwards into your higher self. You're moving onwards and upwards into your truest, most authentic destiny. You're moving onwards and upwards into your truth, your deepest personal truth. So as you move onwards and upwards, it feels unfamiliar and terrifying at first, but the further along the path you get, the more it starts to feel like home, because all you're doing is returning to yourself. All you're doing is reconnecting with the truth of who you are, the truth of what you really want. So just think about the arc, right? It starts off kind of slow and painful and scary and unfamiliar, and then the further you go, you gain momentum, and before you know it, it feels like home, and you're flowing, and it's organic. Right? It's organic. And Karen says, and Matt, and you can see it, Matt, in those group photos. Yeah, you can literally, you want to see a case study in this process, go back through my old photos. It's all public record from 2016 until today. And you can watch and witness my journey back to who I am, in whom I am currently, and I am currently fully entrenched in my authentic self, right? Is the journey over? Absolutely not. Because as I'm continuing to pull back and peel back layers of resistance and doubt and fear and conditioning, right? It's not like I'm done. I'm not sitting here, preaching from the ivory tower of self-actualization, right? I am unequivocally and continually a work in progress. Let me just put out that disclaimer here. But I will say that you can visibly see and understand and experience, I can see and understand and experience myself on a completely different level than I could 5 years ago. This has all happened in 5 years, y'all. It's not that long, right? A lot of people spend 5 years dumping time and energy into the same shitty job, that they hate. Just because they think that it's the only way that they can pay the bills to survive, right? They live in survival mode for decade after decade after decade, and then they wonder, why am I so miserable? Why did nothing ever seem to work out? Why am I surrounded by people who are approximately as miserable as I am? Because you stayed at the same level, you stayed in the same vibration, and because of that, you surrounded yourself with other people that were equally complacent and stagnant and unhappy as you. And that is not the destiny or the journey of anyone who's watching this, of anyone who's in this tribe. Your divine mandate is to always, continually be choosing to move onward and upward every day, every hour, right? And just make that a conscious choice that you are embodying every day. Are y'all with me? Are y'all on board with this? Because this is the Matt Challenge for this week. The Matt Challenge for this week is for you to ask yourself and reflect upon, what does it look like for you to move onwards and upwards in your life? Today, tonight, right? This week, and then moving on into infinity. Right? Because all these things that we've talked about, right? About embracing intention and the power of we and the things we've talked about in these recent weeks, right? It all comes together in this rallying cry, How do you need to know your ego at a deeper level? Do you get to befriend your resistance at a deeper level? Right? What does moving onward and upward look like for you right now? Where can you consciously choose intentionality in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your inner work, right? Where are you holding back? Where are you choosing not to move onward in your life? This is the Matt challenge for this week, and this is one of the most important ones we've had in a long time. What's up, Valeria? Good to see you, my dear. Like, this is, Bethany's way ahead of you, Matt. I love it. I love it. Because here's the thing. Like, you don't need to know all the steps. You don't need to have a laser beam GPS target out there, right? You get to set a broad intention of where you want to be and what you want to create and how you want to feel, and then you get to move onward towards it on a daily basis, on a micro level, which over time will lead to you elevating and connecting with what's possible for you, which at the deepest level is your truest understanding of self. Your deepest level of power, your deepest level of happiness, your deepest level of fulfillment, joy, freedom. You know? And I'm in that stage where I'm like this little bird, you know, basically like I've spent my whole life in this nest and I'm finally starting to take those awkward, flappy first jumps out of the nest, and I'm starting to feel what it feels like to have wind underneath my wings and to see things from outside of the tree that I've spent my life around, you know? And I gotta tell you, it's fucking exhilarating, right? And it's something that I want for each and every one of you. I want each and every one of you who are with me on this path, right, that are on this journey with me, to feel that freedom, to feel that sense of fulfillment and that sense of, you know, that this isn't just possible for me, but this is my fucking birthright. This is what is meant for me. And that all God, the universe, Allah, Muhammad, whatever you want to call him, her, it, assign it a gender, do whatever you want. The divine is simply waiting for you to say, I'm ready. And that this is what I want. That's it. All that the divine beings in your life are waiting for you to do is to say, I choose this. I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I don't care. But the fact that I choose it, and I believe that I'm worthy of it, I'm choosing to believe that I'm worthy of it, even though I'm terrified of it, the fact that I'm choosing it is enough. Because you know what? I am enough. Because you are enough. You're enough. You're enough to have everything you want. Every relationship that you want. The abundance that you want. The fulfillment that you want. Kathy says, I was meant to find you, Matt. That's so sweet, Kathy. I was meant to find you too. If you're here with me watching this, we were meant to find each other. There are no accidents. There is only cosmic providence, and we are sharing that experience, you know, on the micro level in this video, and then in the larger scale on this journey of life that we're on together. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you know, you're meant to watch this. Like, you're meant to be here. And I'm delighted to have connected with you. So choose yourself. Choose what's possible. Say that you're ready, and you will be astonished what God will bring into your life. He will not give you more than you're ready for. He will not give you more than you're capable of handling. He won't. And any challenges that are placed before you, I want you to think of them as sacred responsibilities, and I want you to respond to them with that phrase, onwards and upwards, because the challenges and the obstacles and the roadblocks and the heartbreak and the pain and the tragedy and all of the stuff that gets put into our path, those are our greatest teachers. That it is our sacred responsibility to honor the challenges that are put into our life, because we are more than enough to handle them. Exactly, Bethany. We are more than enough to handle anything that life throws at us. And so much of when people stagnate and fail in life is when they are presented with a challenge and they say, I'm out. I'm going back to the nest. Right? And that's not something, that's not a path that I want any of you to choose consciously. Heather says, I am ready to step into my fears and see what's on the other side. Beautiful, Heather. That single choice, declaring that here in this group, declaring this here in this chat, and in our VIP group, right? That one choice will change all the paradigms of your life. Release the how and choose to, believe, receive, and there was a third word that I came up with recently that I got to remember that one. Michelle Mart says, should I do affirmation? And so I am more than enough. Yes, Michelle, do affirmations and start with onward and upward, right? Onward and upward is a great rallying cry and really affirming all the beautiful things about yourself. That's what this is all about, right? So I hope that this landed with you. I hope that this resonated with you. I hope you take this rallying cry out into the world and you use it. You use it as fuel. You use it as grounding. You use it as a rallying cry of the continual choice that you are making in your life, that no matter what happens, you will move onward. And as you move onward, you will move upward. You will elevate, you will expand, you will grow, and you will make good on the divine possibility that exists within you, on the divine choices that have been waiting for you all along, and that so many people never step into. You're making a choice that so many people never even know is available to them. Okay? Give me a 1 if you're on board. Give me a 1 if you are on board with this. Whether you're watching it on Facebook, you're watching it on YouTube, or you're watching in a galaxy far, far away on a streaming platform that is picking up this feed that we have no idea exists. I'm sure there are aliens somewhere out there watching this somewhere. I have zero doubt. So all you extraterrestrials, get on board. Find a way to communicate through Facebook. All right. Iriam is in. Kathy is in. Dawn Crow. Lindsay is in. Karen Wanky. Alicia Puzzle. I know Heather Casperson is in. Laura is in. Boom. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, Beth Schaeferman says, you have to feel the affirmations, not only say them. Yeah. Yeah, you have to feel them. It's all about the energy, right? And that's why it's so beautiful as you gain momentum in this work. As you gain momentum in this work, you start to feel it at a deeper level because you're not living in such a fearful survival space. You get out of your head, you get in your body, you start feeling like you're in the game, Like these shows I used to freak out before going on live because I needed to have a script and I needed to have an outline and what am I going to do without all of this? Can you imagine me reading off an outline to you? So next we're going to cover blah, blah, blah. Well, if you want to see me do that, go back to 2017. Go back to 2017 and watch some of my early shows where I literally would have an outline. And honestly, they weren't bad, but you could see me looking down and making sure, am I hitting all the points? This show is an example of what it is to be present, of what it is to connect, of what it is to commit to moving onwards and upwards, even within the microcosmic example of the show, right? I don't have a plan. I just have a lot of practice and I trust myself and I have faith. I have faith that I will be able to create what it is that, I want to share with you over the course of this journey that we go on together every week, right? So I honestly am spending my life, my goal for my life, right, is to live the rest of my life the way that I conduct this show. Laura says, I'm feeling so inspired. I love that. Boom. Jacqueline says, I was in a fearful space in May, but now I have a beautiful new life and new vision. I love it. Yes. So I'm so proud of each and every one of you that are part of this community, part of this tribe, that are tuning in every week and getting this energy and staying with me on this journey and continuing to move onwards and upwards with me. Lou Z says, Matt Schaefer, the man without the plan. I may not have a plan, but you know what I do got? I got faith, I got commitment, and I have a rallying cry of onward and upward that I follow every day of my life. And so for anybody who's thinking about public speaking or throwing themselves into anything new, the best thing to do is just to start moving into it. Truly, okay? So y'all, I hope you enjoyed this week's Mondays with Matts. If you did, take a second, share it out to your friends, share it out to the people in your life. If you're watching on Facebook, follow me. I don't have a lot of space for new friends if we're not friends already. And if you're watching on YouTube, take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and don't forget to click the link in the comments and caption, as I have created some great stuff that's going to make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men, some really great content. And if you are new, take a second to go to the Shift Happens YouTube channel and register over there. I'll be putting all Mondays with Matts up on YouTube at this new channel. So, and I'm going to be putting in a lot of the old ones too as we keep going, right? I'm probably going to have a VA start doing that. So if you want to be able to watch all Mondays with Matts without having to log in through Facebook, then feel free to head over there and sign up. I'll put a link in the description of the Facebook, okay? So thanks so much for stopping by, ladies. I love you dearly. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week on Mondays with Matt. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.